when I moved from Remax to my own independent, I wanted this open kind of coffee shop atmosphere of an office, which back in 2014 was pretty progressive. Now it's pretty customary to find office space like that. But I had this vision for it. And the concern that I got from the agents was, well, are we all going to be able to be in this kind of open space and be able to prospect? So I did a bunch of research, and what I found is that there's actually tools. There are these, for us, it ended up being a medical grade white noise system, and it was ridiculously expensive, man. For like 2,000 square feet, it was like $30,000. But I was all in on it. The concept is this. If you're in an airplane when the airplane's up in the air, there's a lot of white noise. Like you could be talking to the person next to you and somebody 3 rows behind you can't even hear you that you're talking.
Yeah.
So it was sort of that concept. And we had all these little like sound emitters. And we also ran music. So we could have music on with the white noise machine on, and everybody could be on the phone and nobody was distracted by the person next to them. It was really kind of bizarre. If we turned that white noise machine off, the music would distract people. The other conversations would distract people. So it ended up being a really effective tool to have an open concept. And it worked for us really well for years.
I remember going to your office and hearing that, and it was really nice. I just didn't know it cost that much. That's crazy. I had it was like a $70, $100 small white noise machine for my office because I was super cheap on it. But we had, over the ear headphones by a company called Savi, I think it was SAVI, noise canceling microphone right here, and everyone would wear those, and that worked out great too. So the noise canceling was really good for the prospect on the other line. And it's cool when everyone's doing it together. If you're in an office where you're the only one prospecting, well, then it's like you're a little self-conscious. You're like, okay, who's listening to me? But when everyone's doing it, everyone's on the same program, calling the same leads, using the same scripts. It's like, if you are eavesdropping a little bit, you're learning, and everyone knows they're there to win together. It's like you're practicing, basketball together. You're practicing real estate together, which is a really cool environment to be in.
Yeah, we found that to be true too. And we always had ISAs, inside sales agents. So they were constantly on the phone, and it would make the other people that weren't on the phone feel like, oh man, I better get on the phone. So, I feel like those that leverage that space leveraged it to the advantage of getting the results that they wanted. And, a lot of times, and I'm sure you've experienced this more than me because you've been, over at EXP longer than I have. But a lot of times we get comments like, oh, well, I need an office. So if you're talking to somebody and maybe, asking them about, have they looked at EXP for the first time and, what are their thoughts there? Do you ever get that? Like, oh, I need an office. And like, what do you say to that?
Yeah, I definitely get that sometimes. I think that's kind of a knee-jerk reaction, going back to that for agents, like to just kind of throw that out there as a thought. So I'll ask clarifying questions, okay, great. How often are you currently going into your office? And I get one of two answers. And one's, oh yeah, really, I'm not going in unless I'm picking up a check, so it's like, I'm never there. But in their mind, they're just like, for the most part, agents, depending on your age, you're kind of used to the concept. If you do business, you go into an office. So it's kind of hardwired into us the way, we grew up. It's like you see it on TV, people are in offices. So it's kind of just like a belief that we hold that isn't even true. So I kind of just asked some clarifying questions, how often do you go into the office? And oftentimes it's, well, actually my office is kind of a ghost town. And the other one is, well, I go in there every day. So I'm just like, okay, great. So at EXP, we get membership to Regis, which is a corporate office space, co-working space. And you can actually go to just regis.com, put in your zip code and see any facilities that might be near you. And you get free access to that co-working space all around the country. So when I joined EXP,
there's sister space too. Their Spaces company.
Oh, and the Spaces company. Yep. Yeah. So I actually really enjoyed that. Even when I had my own office space joining EXP with my team, I would go to the local Regis right off Langtree by your office. And just on my way to an appointment, I would pop in there. I would actually just send my listing paperwork to that facility. The receptionist, and I'm not sure if they would do this everywhere, but the receptionist would have my listing paperwork ready. I would just grab it from her and go because I didn't have a printer at my house because we had just moved. But there was they have these, they're called Think Pods. It's this futuristic cubicle inside a lot of them. It's super private. The walls are tall. So you probably don't want to do a lot of calls in there. Like I wouldn't be prospecting the co-working space, but it would be certainly appropriate to have some business calls. No one else was ever in there. It's just always just me. And it's just a great place to focus on my business and not be actively in my business. So I was able to get away from my team, have that space. And you get, I think it's a 10-15% discount on conference rooms, on private offices. So when I travel to my home in Michigan, I'll actually go to the Regis space there, about 20 minutes from my house in Michigan, and I'll get a private office for myself. It's like $80 for the day, and I'll record like 3 YouTube videos. So it's really awesome. I really enjoy that. So it's kind of like, hey, if you want an office, we have that available to you. And if you realize you don't need an office because you're, maybe just need a prospect for a couple hours in the morning at your home, if you are a prospecting agent, I know a lot of people have the luxury of not having to prospect based on their business type. You can do it from home, or you're out just working. You're out seeing clients, showing houses, listing appointments. I know this for a fact. When I was at KW, our office had 250, 300 agents. And on any given day, if I would go in there, there'd probably be anywhere from like 15 to 20 agents max.
Probably
so less than 10% of the company was actually at the office. And it was always the same people. So just do the math. 90% of the agents aren't there. So if you're part of the 90%, well, then save that cost, because you're paying for that office space at your brokerage, whether you're there or not. You're paying it for the people using it out of your split. So at EXP, we just have low splits, low cap, great benefits like stock and revenue share and so many other things, health insurance. So you get these added benefits because you're taking control of your business and either working from home, acquiring renting your own office space, or using Regis for free because we had that deal.